The people in the live chat here are pretty split between who won the fight. A lot of people saying there should be an option for a draw. I'm not gonna lie. I personally thought this fight was a draw. If I had to pick a winner, I'd probably pick Teofimo, but if they would have gave it to Jamaine, honestly, I wouldn't have been shocked. Now the cards, I mean, I think
Yeah,
115, 113, two of them. 117, 111. I think that's the one that people have an issue with. I think if you take a look at the scorecards, at one point they had Teofimo winning 5 rounds in a row. I don't think either fighter won 5 rounds in a row. That's just crazy. They weren't that
yeah,
person understood the assignment. They didn't watch the fight, but they understood the assignment. Steve Weisfeld, it was terrible, embarrassing. But look, on the end of Jamaine Ortiz, I don't know if I can make a case that he won the fight because a lot of times, like I said, he backpedaled and didn't throw much. At times he was strictly just moving. Now he was countering Teofimo, but at the end of the day, according to the punch stats, they pretty much landed the same number of punches. So I guess at that point it just depends on the judge, right? Of course, it's up to those three men to decide who wins. To me, it was dead even. And going back to 10-10 rounds, Chris, I don't understand why you got to choose a winner in a round when both men aren't doing anything, when both men aren't actually winning the round. I think that's how you end up with an incompetent judge scoring 5 rounds in a row for one fighter, when in reality all the rounds are pretty even. There wasn't there wasn't really one round where you can pinpoint and say, "Oh man, this guy dominated this round and this guy landed way more punches than the other guy in this round." So, going back to 10-10 rounds, I think there should be more 10-10 rounds. I know people frown upon those 10-10 rounds, but how are you just going to flip a coin and choose a winner? That's crazy. If both guys are landing 3 punches around, how are you picking a winner? Makes zero sense, right? At least to me. That's how you end up with scorecards that don't make sense. But boxing, there's no common sense at boxing, man. These guys are married to these old theories and ideologies, so it's never gonna change as long as the scoring systems never change. 117, 111 definitely didn't happen. Um, I think a draw would have been more fair. Both men to me didn't do enough to win.
yeah, yeah. In my opinion, if this was not a title fight, a title bout, you would have to give this fight to Ortiz. Because he did just enough
Chris, I'm
to.
gonna stop you right there because that's another one that's a terrible take.
Well, but
You
let me finish.
the
Let me get to over.
Go for it.
Right. So let me just clear on my point. Ortiz did enough in the early rounds, in my opinion, to stay away to make Theo miss to land a couple, a few more punches, in my opinion. Where he's winning these rounds, he's beating his opponent. He's making a miss, he's landing just a few more. He's just a little bit more clinical. Again, in championship matches, you kind of have to take it from the champion.
No,
You
you
can't
don't, Chris.
just
No, you don't.
you can't
That's
just
false.
you got to pay. He landed a few, Joe. Like to your point, he landed a few, but not enough. I think there was a moment in round 3 or 4 where I think Teofimo, stopped back or he stopped chasing. He's like, "No, you come to me." That's where Jermaine stepped up to him and he landed a few combinations. That's where he looked good. If he would have done that throughout the fight, then you could have given him those rounds. But again, this is a championship level fight. You cannot just get on your bike, and 1, 2 pity pat shots and win around. You gotta make that the aggressor pay, and that's what he failed to do. So I'm just talking about the distinction between a championship level fight and then just a regular one. You got to take it from the champion. I know you're gonna say like, well,
Yeah.
it should have mattered either or,
Way
but
to
that's the big distinction I'm bringing up.
way to save it, Chris. Way to save yourself. No, but no, I think we both agree that look, you don't have to. People say, "Oh man, you got to take it from the champion. You got to do this. You got." No, you just got to win more rounds than the champion, and I don't think Jamaine Ortiz did that. So, um, I mean, your reasoning it sounds logical, right? He just didn't go that extra mile. He didn't go that extra mile to win a lot of those rounds. But look. You don't got to take shit from the champion. You just got to win the fight. And I don't think Jamaine did enough to win 7 rounds. Not sure Teofimo did enough to win 7 rounds. To me, it was dead even, very tough to score. I wouldn't want to be a judge, but 115, 113 doesn't sound crazy. 117, that you're insane for that. That definitely didn't happen. So the unfortunate thing is that these men are going to continue to work to get that work, judge these fights, and get paid for it. Incompetent, but hey, whatever. Steve Weisfeld, I know ESPN was praising, oh, one of the best judges. Yeah, I mean, if you know how to play the game, I guess he's one of the best. But he understood the assignment. I'm pretty sure they're happy with him. But as far as the fight itself, boring. Teofimo never figured it out. Like Timmy was saying, Ortiz was exiting through the same side every single time through the left, and every round just looked like a replay. Teofimo very inefficient, ineffective. But even then, I think he still landed the best shots in the fight. There was like 2 or 3 eye catching ones, and I think Jamaine just he's gonna kick himself when he watches this fight again and again and again because the opportunities were there. Teofimo didn't really throw any jabs. Not sure why, but he just didn't throw any jabs. I think in those moments where both men were inactive in the round, if Ortiz would have used his jab a little more, threw a couple more punches, I think a lot of those rounds he would have won. But it's very tough to win a fight going backwards. Like, especially if you're the B side, if you're going backwards pretty much the whole fight, yeah, they're not gonna score for you.
Yeah, and again, it's a business. People, they know what they're doing. Again, I know Ortiz probably felt like he outboxed Teofimo in many moments he did, but I think the judges and the powers that be, they're cracking down on this style of fighting. I think they're getting away from the Mayweather style of fighter for the or from the rigging down style of fighting. Because a part of me thought that Ortiz was going to win. And, a part of me thought, when I saw that 117, 111, I was like, maybe they're going to give it to Ortiz. I was like, there's no way that they can give that 117, 111 to Theo, in my opinion. So I don't know how most fans feel, or I don't know how you feel, Gio. I don't know how the fans on the chat feel. But yeah, the crackdown is starting to happen. The judges are not going to reward, this style of fighting where you just, you pretty much put the audience to sleep. So, I mean, they're letting them know, you got to let your hands go. Broner, you got to let your hands go. Shakur, let your hands go. Again, it's a business. If we keep having these kinds of fights, the fans are not going to pay in. They're not going to come back and support the sport. So, in a way, like, I like that they don't reward those kinds of fights. It kind of calls for action. But again, I'm not completely convinced by Theo. I think I agree with you, Joe. His stock does go down. He needs to go back to the drawing board, and it starts with the new head trainer.